Thanks so much. This I guess is part of a larger initiative that we are starting here at Swarm, focusing on just education, and that education really revolving around emerging tech, around product, around entrepreneurship. We hope to have interviews with venture capital, with some leading CEOs here in the city, and just in the hopes that we can share this knowledge so we can all do better in our day-to-day lives and jobs. So without further ado, again, thank you so much for coming to the first Emerging Tech Meetup. We're going to have a conversation about augmented reality and virtual reality. So now I'm going to ask you guys if you could please introduce yourselves to the group.
Hi, I'm Sophia. I started this virtual reality newsletter called All Things VR, and I update you once a week about things that are happening in the virtual reality world when it comes to news, new content, and different people who are doing awesome stuff. So yeah, All Things VR.
Hi, I'm Joe, CTO of Little Star. We are a VR platform and aggregator. We started about 2.5 years ago. We came into beta about 7 months ago.
Cool. So Joe, what would you say are some of the biggest challenges that you're seeing in the VR space right now, and specifically with your company as well?
So with Little Star, we focus specifically on 360 video and providing that and making it accessible to all devices. And that's actually a big challenge right now. The devices are pretty fragmented. Oculus just announced that they're only supporting Windows. This kind of hurts web VR for browsers. There's different quote-unquote Google Cardboard copycats out there that are releasing their own SDKs. Cardboard has their own SDK. So we're kind of trying to find the balance, who do we support, where are all the eyeballs at, and where are we spending our time.
Okay, makes sense. Yourself?
I think similarly. I think that right now there's so many different headsets, and people who are entering into virtual reality, they're like, what do I do? And other times when people have Google Cardboard, they're like, what do I download? And so there's a gap of knowledge with people who are in the virtual reality community, and then people who want to be or get into VR. There's no bridge, and so it's part of why I'm trying to make a bridge.
Cool. So going back to this fragmentation, with that being the case, do you imagine it's going to be something similar to what happened with the PC market, where you had just a bunch of little guys and eventually you have a couple of winners? Do you think it's going to be more akin to how we've seen Android, where Samsung is a clear winner here in the States, Sony being the clear winner in Europe, something along these lines? Do you think it'll be platform specific? I mean, just how do you see this emerging over the next couple of years?
For VR, I think that there has to be winners, like what happened with Apple and then what happened with Samsung, because otherwise it's going to be too fragmented and people aren't going to know what to do, and so there's going to be a winner or a couple winners, and everyone will start downloading content from there. But for augmented reality, that's just a totally different ballgame, and so the winners in VR might not be the winners in AR just because they're separate, and so virtual reality impact augmented reality, and we're going to see the same sort of war happen with AR as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I do believe that there'll be different winners, but there'll have to be winners.
Yeah, I think it's going to be kind of similar to the browser war that we saw in the last decade. All the vendors are going to be racing to kind of create a standard, what they believe their standard to be. And whoever gets to the finish line first, I believe will hopefully create that spec and standard.
Interesting. So I mean, it's looking like it's going to be Oculus and Facebook right now. With that, Wit's launch, it's the official public launch, and there's an Oculus back there. If anybody gets bored, you can just put it on and walk around. I tried to get everybody to fly spaceships today, but since Oculus stopped supporting Mac officially, the game developer has also stopped supporting the Mac distribution of the game. So unfortunately, I apologize. You cannot fly spaceships today. But right then they're called Frontier. Complain. And so with the Oculus coming out, how impactful do you think it's going to be? Both in terms of a B2B and a B2C type of.
I think it'll be impactful in terms of people will be like, hey, virtual reality is here and I can go buy it. But most people aren't going to buy Oculus. Most people aren't going to buy they're going to be fascinated by it and like go to a store and try it out, but they're not going to purchase one because then they have to buy a $1,500 computer and Windows, and like most people, I mean, most tech people have Macs, and so suddenly it's just like this huge expense. So like you're only going to get the very, very early adopters to buy it, but also this will translate into like the early majority, because then people will be interested in it, and then I think Google Cardboard is going to like make serious moves and be like, here's a headset that works, and your phone now has better processing power, and Samsung's like making moves in that direction. So I think Oculus and the launch of HTC Vive would be great for virtual reality, and people no longer thinking like, oh, is it going to be here? Is it the second time around that it'll go away? I think it'll make a point of like it's here to stay, but I don't think that most people are going to buy it, at least for the next couple of years.
Yeah, I definitely agree. The stage it's in right now, it's pretty novelty. You're not putting an Oculus on and hanging out in it for a while. You're not like putting your phone in the cardboard and using it for hours on end. I think like the impacts it will have on like society, for people who aren't gamers or people who aren't just using it for the novelty, is being somewhere you can't actually be. I think there was a story not too long ago, a guy was able to see his child being born through an Oculus, which was an incredible story. And I think that VR can like impact life that way. It's pretty powerful.
Cool, and I mean these are more B2C applications. What about in the B2B realm?
That's something that like we think about every day at Little Star. In the experience, like if you're in a video, in our case, there's tons of data there. We're recording where you're looking around, your rotations, where you're spending your time, how long, where have you not seen in the video. And those things kind of drive content creators, like what they should be doing with their videos or the next videos that they're creating, the content that they're creating. And it kind of gives insight into like what a person's actually interested in. So on the production side, someone putting content on Little Star and getting this insight, we can give them this data and they can make decisions on like what kind of edits they want to make for the next video they're making, or if they're making an animation or something like that.
Can you tell us a little bit more about Little Star and what you guys do?
Yeah, right now we're going through kind of a small overhaul, or a large overhaul, but we are a network and a platform for 360 video content. Users typically upload photos or videos to our platform, and we do our best to distribute it to the Oculus, your VR, mobile, web. We have developer tools, SDKs. We allow people to build their own iOS or Android apps using our SDKs and kind of just white label their own experience, build off of our API and stuff like that.
And how would how would somebody go and start grabbing 360 video?
So
how would they start grabbing it?
I'm not sure, but getting the video.
Like what kind of devices are there? Because my iPhone, I can go and I can do panorama views, indefinitely. It's just kind of annoying.
How are you recording?
Yeah.
Oh, capturing. Yeah. There's devices like the Ricoh Theta, which is I think the easiest barrier to entry into this. It can take about 2
minutes, like such.
Yeah. It takes like 2 to 3 minutes of videos.
That's not going to be edited out, by the way.
No, I definitely agree with that. Like, I would never record a video on it. Taking a photo is like super easy. Just snap it, and there's a bit app, and I can sync it up and just like upload it within like 5 minutes. Pretty sure other companies out there, maybe Facebook or Instagram, will eventually hop into this realm. Other camera makers out there will be doing this. The other entry is buying something a little more expensive. A lot of people are buying like these Freedom 360 rigs and 360 flies, buying 6 GoPros, 6 SD cards, poles, mounts, and spending a lot of time making high quality content that tends to be more expensive.
Yeah, and
it's like $6,000.
So the barrier to entry is like about $6K.
Yeah, but there are like a bunch of Kickstarter campaigns that were successful a couple months ago, and so now people are like people who paid first are going to start getting these cameras, and so the cameras are retailing for like $300 to $600, which is so cheap, and it auto stitches for you, so you don't have to do any of that. And so like I don't know, in the past week or so, like 3 more cameras were successfully funded. So we're going to see a lot more cameras in the next few months coming out, and that you can record 360-degree content for a much
Yeah, that's amazing. You know, and auto stitching is just when it takes all these different kind of, you know, frames and just puts them together. So yeah, that seems.
Because like, just stitch something right now, and you probably know more about this than I do. Like, it can take days.
Yeah.
Really?
Or even longer, depending on how long you're recording a video for.
Yeah. So like, that's why companies like John, who was founded by Google, they're creating their own cameras and licensing them to bigger brands. It's like, oh, we do all the stitching for you. You don't have to worry about it. And we have like 16 different camera angles, so you can get the best content. So I think more things like that will be emerging that people can rent because it costs too much to create content right now.
Yeah. So, you know, it's interesting that you touch on that because, you know, these are engineering challenges that we're seeing right now. And, you know, but besides stitching, what are some other engineering challenges that you see? You know, I mean, you're CTO. You know, you clearly are very knowledgeable about this as well. So, you know, what should we look out for? What are some of the skills that you need to, or that you will need to build these types of applications?
Stuff we're facing right now that we're like just starting to test is things like live streaming to the gear. People if you have the gear, you're typically on Wi-Fi. Hopefully you're on Wi-Fi.
Just like Gear
VR.
Okay.
It's by Samsung and Oculus. The videos are very large files, and people who have mobile phones that come with the cardboard typically are on their cellular data.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna kill the data pretty quick by watching like 10 videos.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a huge challenge for us, is enabling the stream for that. Right now, a lot of people tend to download our videos and play them back in like the gear. Where we're trying to like mitigate that by pressing and optimizing our streams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like battery power. Because now if you watch like a couple of your videos on your phone, like your battery's gonna go down 40%. What else?
So the tech is there, but it's not there.
It's there, but like you're gonna be an early adopter if you're releasing it.
Yeah. So iPhone 1, it was nice to touch, but it was kind of useless.
No, but it's not useless. It's definitely not useless.
Yeah.
You can do a lot of things with it. But the problem is that like if you want to be in VR all day on your phone, like that's not gonna happen right now.
Mm-hmm.
As you said, like using Little Star, your phone downloads the videos first before you watch it. And it's just like there's a company that just raised 2.5 million to do like live streaming of virtual reality content. So like there's another company called NextVR which is trying to do that for events. So I think like the more knowledge there is within the community, then like people are going to start giving back, and then people can move a lot faster. Like speaking at the hackathon, when I was building a 3JS world for VR, using VR Chrome experiments, there was zero documentation. And I was like asking people in the room, just like, okay, can you help me here? What do you know? And so people there were able to help, but it's not really online. But I think that because when people are just in virtual reality, you're going to see a lot more people like adding knowledge and like adding tech knowledge to the internet so we can continue building.
That's awesome. You know, we've been talking about VR, and obviously you have a VR company, you write about VR, and you know, I would say primarily, you know, there is that augmented reality bit as well. And there's been some really interesting things coming out of this world. You know, Google dropped $500 million into Magic Leap. And so my first question is, you guys saw the video?
Yeah.
Bullshit or real?
Okay, so I think that if they're able to raise $500 million in Google, they have something. Do I think that they'll be successful? I don't know. Like, name one company that's been successful after raising like over $100 million pre-launch. I don't know. Like, release something and then we'll see, but I think that video was like done just the same way that Meta made a video when they were like on Toy Combinator, and it was like, we have this technology, but have you seen anything from Meta?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens next. If there's no technology there, hopefully they're investing in the team.
Yeah.
And if not, then it will be a pretty big fail.
Yeah. But I mean, like if you go to their website, they have like their hiring like crazy.
Well, you know, with $500 million, you got
right,
some
but like
changes
if a company like scales so quickly, then like where's the room to like become a company and like become something that's gonna like maintain itself over years?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting point because you do have culture issues, right?
Yeah.
There's no product. They're building a product, and there's just this mass army of engineering talent. But what is it, and how long are they going to really spin their wheels before they release, and so on and so forth? Because if you have that much money, you're not really pressured to put it to market.
Yeah.
And it might just be, it might just get bought by Google, and Google might just do something with them.
Put it into Google Glass or something.
Yeah, and do you know that they're making now Luxottica is building the new Google Glass? Yeah. So hopefully they won't look as completely ridiculous as the first ones. But bringing it back to kind of this, to Google Glass, alternate reality, there are a number of applications that exist there as well, right? So I'd like to get your input into what you think are some of the potential uses for augmented reality in our day-to-day, as well as then follow up with in the B2B world, and just go just far-fetched. It could be near or completely far-fetched.
Okay. I mean, if I'm here and suddenly I can see my email and check everything, then without even looking at a watch or looking at my phone or looking at a computer, and do everything that I need to do for work just by me sitting here, that would be incredible in terms of the B2B or B2B2C.
Yeah.
So I think definitely work related. It'll change everything. I like Magic Leap's approach, where it's if you're bored, then suddenly you'll just see a pink elephant floating, and you can have fun with it, or you can play a game just by sitting there. I think that's really cool. But I think again, virtual reality has to happen. The tech has to be there before augmented reality can really take off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see it just doing exactly what it says, augmenting a lot of experiences, kind of gamifying, maybe you're at a music festival or you're at a conference, and just by really having these device on, your experience has changed and you're getting more of an experience and anyone else doesn't have it on. There might be Easter eggs to something or anything that's out of normal life.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of this we try to do with telephones, with smartphones, when the shortcomings there were that the ideas that seemed really fun and really kind of engaging from the onset, in practicality, kind of just bombed.
You mean using your phone for augmented reality?
No, not just augmented reality. I mean, do you guys remember Bump?
Yeah.
Right? It seems like such a great idea. I have my phone, oh, I mentioned boom, right? So the thing just didn't work.
Well, you have to open an app, and by that time,
and then you have to Bluetooth connect, and then let me put in a 15-digit code. It's just a completely seamless user experience. Wow.
Yeah.
But do you feel like some of these things that we're talking about now, they're just going to fall kind of flat on their face?
Yeah.
Because
that's okay. I mean, bump didn't happen, but contacts still exist, and there's other companies that Human exists, where it's now if I put your phone number into my contact book, then it would tell you where we met and all this other stuff, which is just an evolution of bump.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think things are meant to fail, and then you learn from them, and then you make that experience better.
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah, I agree. I think some things should be novelty. It shouldn't just exist for a short period of time to progress towards the future.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, see what happens there.
Yeah. And here's a competitive app coming on the market called Hi.
Really?
No, I'm kidding.
I was they missed their window.
Yeah, no, aren't they valued at 10 mil now? Yo. Yeah, I think they might be. It's just the most ridiculous thing.
I mean, their PR team should be valued at 10 mil.
Yeah, seriously. So I clearly did not write enough questions for this. I was hoping you guys would be 5 minutes each on them. So let me just start making things up. Yeah, by the way, I'm really sorry. I thought this was going to take a lot longer. Remind yourself to edit that out.
Can I ask something?
Yes, no, of course.
You mentioned Oculus going to Windows. Well, what's behind the decision, and actually is the declaration of where they want to take it?
Yeah, I think it's because because the Maxes don't have a strong enough computer graphics card, and so because of that, Windows does. And they also did a bunch of partnerships with Windows, so maybe that was like part of the deal or something.
But do you think that Apple would still step up and actually?
Yeah, but Apple just releases stuff
Always
once
trying to
a
do
year,
that.
right? So, and you never know what they're going to release. Maybe the next computer that they release has a strong enough graphics card. The Oculus doesn't know that, and so like they're not going to build for the what if.
You know, Wii is often used by the business community. Does it mean that there will be kind of
And
a
gamers.
shift?
Gamers
gamers.
use Windows.
So that's gamers and virtual is logical, but maybe there's some kind of like an application towards business that's actually going to be getting
Yeah.
something from the tools because of that.
Yeah, I mean, they also created HoloLens, which they want to like do a lot of businessy things with, just because it's augmented reality, and there's a lot more immediate practical solutions for augmented reality than there is for virtual reality. Yeah. I don't know, you might know more about the specs of Max versus.
I mean, I agree with everything you said. I think like Oculus is really trying to go for the gamer market right now, and Windows has dominated that market forever.
Gamers also willing to drop the bucks on it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
easily. It's like the second.
Yeah. Because, you know, 300, what is it, like 350 and DK2 retails for now?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But they haven't even released the price out of the Oculus.
I know, so because I think you can get it, I'm like 95% certain you can get a DK2 from Oculus for about $350. So, you know, consumer price point might be a little bit lower than that even.
I think that they're thinking saying like $500.
Really? Interesting.
I mean, the screens are way better.
Yeah.
It has like integrated headphones.
Okay.
It comes with a controller.
Yeah, I heard about the control, I haven't seen it. This is why you guys are here. You're the
Well, no,
experts.
so what they're going to release it with is just an Xbox controller, and then they're going to go into beta testing their controllers.
Okay, cool, cool,
But they're not releasing it with the Oculus.
cool. We're talking about gaming in VR. Have you seen these like huge rigs that like somebody stands in with that VR headset and they're just like running around?
Yeah.
I've seen like videos of it. Yeah.
I think it's just gonna revolutionize exercise.
They're pre-ordering for $650.
Really, the
Yeah.
Oculus or the?
No, the mouse.
Yeah.
The red mouse thing.
Can you post on the Meetup group the
Yeah.
links to that? That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Do we have any other questions? Yeah,
We all know where's the fun, but where's the money?
in the fun.
People
Yeah.
pay for fun.
So
I
there's
say as a product, as a service.
yeah. So there's actually I think a report came out today that like 162 investors have invested in virtual reality, but like of those, 142 have only invested once. So that means that there's only 20 investors that have been key investors in VR. I thought that was interesting. So, and like there's River, which is like Rothenberg Ventures, Boost VC, or different incubators that are doing VR stuff. And like I've been contacted by a lot of different VCs who are like, I want to invest in VR. Like, what do I do? Who do I talk to? And so it exists. I'm not saying that they're going to definitely invest, but like people are interested. And that's a company. So.
Yeah, and we're trying to focus. We just recently got into Disney's Accelerator, and we're doing some big shifts. I don't know if anyone's familiar with our site or been on it. We're trying very hard not to be the YouTube of this content right now. So you guys, if you're watching us, we'll be making some big shifts over the next 3 months, focusing primarily on very high quality premium content and kind of servicing that, and allowing other production companies and agencies to kind of syndicate back and forth. And we believe there's a lot of potential there, and a lot of room for monetization, and a lot of like ways to kind of make this a better industry, less of a fad, because it could easily be one.
Do you mean be more like Jaunt?
Well, we're not making hardware.
Right, minus hardware.
Yeah.
You did mention somebody's birth of a son. Can you expand on that?
This was like an article I read a while ago. I showed it in my Facebook feed. Someone was able to see the birth of their son or child while wearing an Oculus.
So instead of being there, it was virtually.
It was virtually there, yeah. And I think that's a really good application for this. Like,
assuming you can't be there, assuming you are.
yeah, he was across the world, and for whatever reason, and he was able to see the birth of his child, which I thought was cool.
So it's kind of like tourism, basically.
Yeah. So it's like it's not virtual reality, well, it's, in a sense, but you're experiencing reality from somewhere else, and I think that's going to be a pretty good application for the future.
That would be cool on the space shuttle.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're shooting things, or the Mars rovers.
Yeah.
Well, they tried to put HoloLens like on the last SpaceX thing, and that exploded.
And now we don't have any more HoloLenses.
That was the one.
Unfortunately.
But Mark Zuckerberg talks a lot about how in the future we'll look back at when we used to look at photos and think that was experiencing something, and how all content will like be as if you were really there. So imagine you actually go to your family reunion and an hour of it is recorded, and then you'll have that memory forever and can go back and access it as if you were really there. And I think that that kind of future is something that's really interesting, because then you'll be able to experience these past memories, for better or for worse, as if you were there.
Actually, I'm from Brazil, and I already did some projects with VR and stuff. This Saturday we're starting to record what do you call it? When people end college ceremony.
Commencement?
Graduation, yeah. So we're going to start recording 1 minute graduation from the stage and sell it for a couple of $100, because that's a memorable experience, you know. And at least in Brazil, this business of graduation, presentation, and booklets and everything is so big that $100 on a video, people go, wow, incredible. Yeah, so this will be our first test on Saturday now.
Cool. What's your company called?
Visual Joy.
Visual Joy?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Are you doing 360 or?
360.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Where are you uploading?
Sorry?
So where are you uploading it? Just like
Well, the thing is, I did a trip to some friends in Kentucky to be able to buy all this GoPro, because in Brazil it's so expensive. So I gathered some friends from here and joined them on a 2-week basement hackathon. So we did this 6,000-7,000 investment and said, well, let's do it. But back to the, what was your question?
where are you going to host it?
Oh yeah, the thing is, by the time, when I got there, YouTube just launched the 360 video support. I mean, till then, and it even didn't work on the iPhone. So I was like, wow, there's space for this. And when we uploaded our first videos, there was only 700 360 videos. And probably that number didn't go up so much right now. But probably YouTube, because most of the time people don't want to have, or people are just showing to a friend and they don't have the goggles and everything. So we're focusing on the only 360 experience instead of the 3D, because it's just easier to show people anywhere, in a bathroom.
Yeah.
In a party, loud party, you know?
Yeah.
Something, yeah.
Something about your sentence about in the future people will be very weird. The fact that you were just looking at pictures. And I'm thinking about the fact how 3D television is not working. And actually, I wonder if the VR community is kind of like concerned that at some point people start being interested in an extended experience. As I say, it's good enough for me, as long as I don't have to wear glasses and all that. Was there any response from the VR community to the fact that 3D televisions are not really becoming as popular as people expected?
okay, so I don't know the price of a 3D television, but I would assume that it's like a lot more expensive than normal television. And most content isn't 3Ds, in part because like there wasn't enough market for it. And it's not that, like 3D television or 3D movies, except Avatar, aren't that much better than just watching in 2D. But like virtual reality is like 10x to like 100x better because it's like so much more immersive and so much different. And because of that, I think that there's going to be a lot more people going to buying these headsets and like wanting to try out virtual reality.
You can get a 46-inch Samsung HD TV with 3D for $1,200.
That's not bad. Then people
So it's
probably
maybe
have
with no software, no product.
$8,000.
Yeah, it was like so expensive a couple years ago. But yeah, probably like when I barely ever use cable, but when I do, I'm never like, oh, this is 3D, and like pull out my glasses and wear them.
I think the product should be so impressive that you're willing to put something.
Yeah.
I mean, I was able to put things for Avatar, but I didn't mind putting it. But other than that, it just seemed to be.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, anything I think for anyone to adopt anything, this comes from like websites, apps, like virtual reality. Like, it has to be at least 10x better, and if it's not 10x better, then like people aren't going to convert because the thing works fine.
And do you think that, with the DK2 being, loads better than, the first one, do you think that what Oculus is going to release in January, will it be production ready?
I mean, I saw a movie or 360 content on the Crescent Bay. Like, that was amazing.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was really good. Didn't see, like, then I went and tried out the Gear VR, like, shortly after, and, like, noticed all the pixels in the screen versus the Crescent Bay, like, I didn't see.
Okay, cool.
So, I think it'll be there, if not.
A little bit further. It's awesome. Who's buying one in January?
You said
We'll read your blog. What's happening there.
Keep following my blog, I'll tell you all about it.
So Luxottica is going to be doing the Google Glass next. They're going to try to make it more fashionable so it's not as weird as that first iteration. Do you think there's a possible invasion of privacy going forward as what Mark Zuckerberg saw as his future? Potentially, but you show up at that party, you're wearing something, no one knows if it's on, if it's off.
Oh yeah,
Some of
totally.
the issues that are going to be,
Yeah.
I'm sure it's going to come with this.
Yeah, I mean,
Handful.
I think that privacy will definitely be affected, but I also don't think it's gonna like happen all at once, right? Like it just like takes time. And for example, let's say that there was like a tech-free zone. Like I feel like those things will emerge. Where like go to a party and like your thing is disabled because of X. Like people will create those things because they don't want like to be connected all the time. But it also matters in terms of like the choices of like who you're using now. Like are you using Google or using Mozilla now? Like who do you want to own your data? Because these are the people going for Facebook. These are the people going forward who are going to be creating these like fully immersive tech systems.
I have a question. Conan O'Brien last week was in Comic-Con.
Yes.
And actually they offered this service where you could buy a box, you put your phone in.
Google Cardboard.
Right. Is that something that has been around? Is it something that was somewhat new for this event last week?
No, Google Cardboard has been out for like a year and a half. At Comic-Con, they gave away 100,000 Google Cardboards. And Google Cardboards out in the open are like over 5 million. So people have Google Cardboard. You can buy them anywhere from like $5 to $30 or get them for free if you go to these events.
And that's considered to be a VR experience?
Yeah, because you just put your phone, I don't actually don't have one, but you download an app like Little Star, which has 360 content, and then you put in your phone, and suddenly like your head is tracked based on where you're moving your phone and your head. And so it's like you're in a 360 world because like all of the light is blocked out and you're in an experience. Yeah.
So obviously there are many with experiences that as being something learning, as there could be changes based on that. I mean, like, if by now there's a year and a half of experience of that, was there any development, or it's like, okay, everybody's trying it and then
Well, so
no more?
when they launched it like a year and a half ago, maybe a little bit less than that. What they said was, here's a good way to get a glimpse at VR. And so all of these different, this thing that you can print out and make your own cardboard is free online. You just have to buy the lenses. But now they updated the kit and like it now has like a trigger thing on the side, so like you can interact with your phone with like sort of magnet, just like a little bit more advanced. And other people have like created whole companies where they're like selling updated Google cardboards with like styrofoam or plastic. And so like cardboard is a really great way to give you a glimpse into what virtual reality can be. And it's like what the masses have for its masses have right now, versus most people won't have Oculus for the next 2 years at least.
Does it give, I mean, again, a year and a half, does it give an indication where it's going because you have enough
Yeah,
data?
Conan O'Brien is making a virtual reality app.
No, but again, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, so the same thing, it's.
I mean, the fact that Conan O'Brien is making a virtual reality app is showing that like people are willing to experiment. Like all these different.
So it's moving more mainstream, basically.
Yeah, and they're like, okay, what is this cool? And I'm sure that they put like analytics on their app and are going to see like what people liked and what who didn't, what they didn't like who's downloading it and why. And so like based on like all of this data of like all these different app companies that are making these virtual reality experiences, they can then learn from that and make better mobile virtual reality experiences. So next year we'll see better mobile VR stuff.
What do you do with the box? You just happen to have it.
I'm sorry?
You just happen to have the box.
We have several of them lying around the office.
And how come you carry it with you?
Just to play with, show off. So if no one's seen it before, like demo our app.
Also, your app can actually.
Yeah, you
work
need a
with-
virtual reality app to make it work. You couldn't just like put your phone in and like be in.
Right.
Yeah.
If you download the Little Star app, you could switch to VR right and put your phone in there and experience it through the cardboard.
Cool.
That's magical.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm something.
So I have a question. Where do you see analytics going? So right now they're not really tracking any metrics. When you're eye tracking, I believe there's one headset, FO is the only one really tracking eye. How do you see that progressing as headsets get traction?
Oh, I think it's going to be super important because when your eyes move, like, so should. And so you don't have to be like going like this all the time, right? Like if you're just turning your eyes, then it can direct your.
And is that what
field of view.
the Vive is doing? The HTC Vive?
No, the Vive is positional tracking. So like, if I'm here and I'm in the game and suddenly I walk there, I would walk forward in the game, and that's the only headset that does that right now. But I'm sure that they'll add eye tracking. And I think that there's another company called Altspace VR, which does that, or like was testing that by like putting some sort of camera inside of your headset and doing some sort of testing.
There's a British company that has a VR headset that does eye tracking.
FOVE, FOVE.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
FOVE is Japanese startup.
Japanese.
Oh.
And they got investment from Microsoft London.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you had an idea. It's probably
That's why they're in the UK. Yeah. No, they had a demo at South by. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've never tried it.
Yeah. Cool. Any other questions?
What's the name of the newsletter?
All Things VR. This is allthingsvr.com.
How do you get your information?
I have a dig reader, and I basically have like every virtual reality like website streamlined there. And in the morning I check it, and then in the night I check it, and then I'll like repost it on my blog. Things that are like interesting or cool things, advances in VR.
Do you update regularly or when things are worth updating?
No, I update it every day, and then once a week I'll take past week's updates and compile it into one newsletter so that you don't have to do everything that I did by like kind of figuring out what's in VR and it delivers to your box.
Cool. If nobody has any more questions, thank you all so much for coming. I guess it was a short meetup or a long one, depending if you like the topic. Super interesting, guys. You were wonderful. Thank you so much for coming and being the first to give this a go. I will email everyone, or we will send out a message to everyone once this has been posted to YouTube. Unfortunately, things have been crazy, so I forgot to order food. I apologize if meetups are your form of sustenance. I apologize even more. Because you know there are people that do that. And again, thank you so much for coming. That's it. We're done. Oh, and if anybody hasn't played around with an Oculus, there's one back there. Pop it on your head and enjoy the world of virtual reality. We're not kicking anybody out for like another 20 minutes.
There you go.
Oh, thanks.
No, guys, seriously, awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah. Yeah, no. I'm super. We'll get some edits. Make sure.